Call to order, adoption of agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
Can I get a
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Adoption of the minutes of 3.1 recommendation.
Council adopted minutes of the regular council meeting held on October 3rd, 2018.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Introducing of late items. Is there any, Chris? No?
No, none this evening. Your
Public hearing, none. Delegation, 6.1 recommendation.
Recommend that council hear the delegation from the Kooskoobie Museum.
And I would like you guys, or one of you guys, to stand up, and I'd like you also to introduce yourself.
Second.
Oh, seconder, sorry. Ray already did.
I'll second.
Thank you. Can you introduce everybody that's on the library board, Les, please? Museum board? Even, or, sorry, museum board? Even though you're half of my relatives, I still like, you know. Come ahead, Les.
You want to come up here, Les?
Hey.
But you can move that wherever you want.
Got some daily news for you.
Will you pass around for you?
Sure.
Okay. Just have one.
You need one too.
Okay, here. We'll give you one. There you go.
So if you start, I'll start, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for coming here to present to us. As you know, on July 20th, we sent out a letter to the museum board asking for more regular contact with the museum in open and recorded forum here at council. We appreciate you taking the time to come here to speak with us. Our council's goal since taking office in 2016 has been open and transparent operations of the village and having regular one-on-one dialogue with helps with that goal. I want to stress that this is not an inquiry-type meeting, and the village has no issues or concerns with the operations of the museum or the use of the funds. We simply want to see how you're doing, how the museum is functioning, and if there are any ways in which we can assist you.
Thank you, Doreen. First off, we have a short note from the president. The membership and staff of the Kooskoobie Museum is very aware that we must embrace a positive relationship with the village of Kooskoobie. Our relationship is unique in the way that the Museum Society owns and controls the total inventory and the artifacts in the museum, which are, the buildings are owned by the village. The inventory is owned by the Museum Society. Through the years, we have worked closely with many different administrations and have always been able to maintain a level of transparency, allowing both parties to be fully aware of our respective positions. The volunteer members recognize the need for clarity, and their policy of approval for spending is evident in the minutes as presented to the village liaison at each society meeting. The rest of it, I take blame for. Thank you for inviting us to our meeting. I would like to introduce the museum board members. They are Joe Trombley, Barb Frost, Bev Tegmeyer, pardon me, Frank Wager, Chris Wager, Caroline Merrick, and Ray Johnstone is the village rep. These are the people that make the museum a success. They're all volunteers and spend a lot of time helping and organizing our functions and keeping the museum running smoothly year-round. I, for one, did not take the letter from the village of Kooskoobie asking for transparency and accountability lightly. Not once has anybody from the village of Kooskoobie came to the museum to see how things were going. Next year, you all have an open invitation to visit and see how things are going. When Jamie and Lexi did tours this past summer, the comments I received were all good. Never heard one bad comment. We have people in who run a museum in Red Deer, and they said this was the most organized museum they had ever been to. It was the first museum they had seen in which every item displayed had a name tag of the person or family who donated it attached to the tag, with a tag. Everything is registered as an artifact, as it has been since the beginning, and we have simply followed the example of Lorraine and her staff in recent years. We also received many compliments on the flowers, both in the museum yard and on the street. This is a full street, not just ours. I think that last year, the street looked the best it ever had, and we received compliments on finding information for tourists passing through. In regard to the questions posted by the village at Pooskoopi, how is the museum space working out? There is no unused space in the main building or in the Heritage House. Very little in the tool shed. That has old tools, horse harness, saddles, etc. The trapper's cabin is small and has to stay as it is. We are having a 14 by 16 foot storage shed built in the back and northwest corner of the lot in early spring. How is the usership this year? Are the numbers steady, increasing, or decreasing? The usage of the museum is steady. Looking back to 2017, we opened on May the 1st. Actually, I was around there before that, getting stuff at the garage sale. But I didn't get signatures until the grand opening, which was the 15th. But we're right on target with previous years, like in 17. Signatures, we did well at both openings in the garage sale and at the harvest tea. How is the general feel of the museum? Are the users pleased? The answer to this is yes. Comments, both verbal and those on the guest sheets, will verify this. Are there any ways the village can support you? We can work together on things like parades, light up, etc. Public Works staff has been excellent with any problem we have asked them to help with. Is the building in need of repair and maintenance that the village needs to budget for in 2019? The answer to this is yes. The main building is in bad order. Needs paint. There's boards missing on the overhead, over above the walkways, which I just showed Lorraine. I will work with the painters replacing shakes, boards, whatever's missing there, removing plaques and signs, and anything else that has to be removed in order to paint. All window screens must be removed in order to scrape the paint from the windowsills. The window sills need to be sandblasted. I have copies of the estimates from Transformers Painting, and they've checked their background. They have a good reputation for being clean and safe, and for getting the job done in a timely fashion. Frank Wager said he spoke to a person about sandblasting, pardon me. This person is worried about old wood and dust. But he said he had a 30-foot lift we could rent for high up stuff on the peaks of the building. I have photos and copies which I gave to Chris this morning, photos of a lot of what's happened there, or what has to be done there. This building has been neglected for a long time, and photos will explain that. Also, I will come to the museum and open the gates for anyone who is interested in looking at it firsthand. Will the museum be doing an Xmas display this year? Yes, we will be doing a display, and we will be around for the light up. We will open the museum for the light up, so the washroom will be available. And we will do the village supplied coffee, hot chocolate, and donuts, that is in the works this year. For this year, accomplishments are, we built a sewing room in the Heritage House, was paid for out of our gaming account, painting the door in the caboose. Roger St. Pierre cut it down to fit, remounted it, painted it. Dirt and borders were replaced in the flower gardens. The door was cut off in the shed behind that was just built wrong from the start. And a new step was built into the shed, harness room. Plumbing was fixed. We entered 2 parades, held a garage sale, a harvest tea. We built a display for World War I cavalry saddle donated by a Chetwynd resident. Planted flowers and regular maintenance to the museum grounds and flowers planted on the street. The flowers, other than the hanging baskets, were paid for from our fundraiser account. Frank Wager and family donated $400 to the building fund, which will be applied to the cost of the new shed, along with other funds remaining in the gaming account and the building account. That building account was left over from when the tool shed was built. I understand that the museum paid half of it, and the village of Coos paid half of it. This will be applied to the costs on the new shed, Frank's money there. Other funds remaining in the gaming account, and the fundraiser account if needed. Our plans for next year include main building repairs. The sidewalks have sunk to the point of being a trip hazard. We will be repairing or replacing. We have to replace the north wall in the caboose due to rot. The south wall was done a few years back. We have to replace the regular yard beautification and yard upkeep. We'll run a yard sale at the grand opening, a parade float, harvest tea in the fall again. We plan on purchasing a new printer for the office to replace the one which is not working. Lexi Swartz will be returning as a summer student. Jamie Suki may return if she is unable to secure a job in her chosen field. She will be done school this year, so if the government gets her, we lose her. It would be nice if they both returned, as they're very knowledgeable about the museum and the area. Our thanks to Bev Tegmeyer for her donation of a completely restored vintage stove, 1923 and 24. I have the original paperwork on it, and I have a picture. You guys would have it somewhere. I've seen it. Much appreciated, Bev. Thanks to Chris for following up the insurance claim. Just about got us thrown in jail last night at 8 o'clock, but it's done. Tom, the manager at Apex in Poos, told me yesterday he also donated a $100 gift card he bought at Northern Metallic for our harvest tea. But he told me yesterday to call him the paint man. He sells paint. He's not going to sell it to us, he's going to donate it. He said they turn $2 or $3 million a year and stuff over there. So any paint you need, and trays and brushes and anything, let me know, I'll get it for you. That's what friends do. I thank you all, and we will see you when you come to visit us at the museum next year. Shoot the questions.
Shoot, well, the questions you already answered for us. Except one, how can the village support you?
let me go to work without coming to meetings and it would be all right.
You can't do a 15-minute meeting every 6 months?
We're only open for 4 months of the year, so how
Okay,
about
one
year?
meeting then, one meeting?
Yeah, but I mean, why?
Like right now?
I don't like.
At the end of the
meetings,
season, then you can let us know what happened, or
Yeah.
if you need anything,
I
please
just
do a
did that, so
delegation.
that'll work. I can agree with that. I just don't see coming to meetings and listening to it from January, February, and
No,
March,
no.
when the only thing that's
It's
happening
not
is the
open.
furnace is running. We're hoping for a good accomplishment this summer, but that building has to be done. It has to be, that's just, when the boards start hanging down above people's head, and like I said, the sidewalk is down this far, and then the grass is going up, we chop at it, but they gotta be.
What do you think
Well, we're
about?
gonna do it,
What about
but
building
that's the
a new
thing, you people, we make pretty good money on our fundraisers and donations, and we do a lot of that stuff, like we just, the building maintenance, usually we don't involve you if it's something like the step or the room in there, you probably saw what it looked like when it had the furnace in it, just wasted space, that's a nice room in there now with sewing stuff in it. I don't mind doing them kind of things, and anything around the building that can be fixed, but we can't have something like a paint job there, that's huge, but,
So on your wish list, would a museum possibly be in the works? Would that be on your wish list?
I'm sorry,
Oh, on your wish list, would a museum, a new museum be in the works?
I don't know, well, I don't know how
You have to
many.
talk to the board members about it, but
Yeah, we will.
council has to discuss it too, but that's a wish list.
Yeah. That old place is kind of the original because it goes with the trestle, it goes with,
Yeah.
you know, everything is kind of hand in hand in there.
Yeah,
It'd be
you got
nice to say, oh yeah, we got a new, and I probably won't live long enough to go in it, but, so I'm hoping we can make it look good. It did, and what I said about the flowers, we got a lot of compliments on the street and the flowers there. Them old people from the States and old tourists and, well, from anywhere, they just love that kind of stuff. And them two girls were,
Yeah, they were good.
they couldn't be beat, that's all there is to it. They were like both hands to me, so.
Brooke has a question, Les?
This is probably for Joe. Okay, that building's been down there, the old railway station. In the future, you're running out of space. Do you think it's possible to add on to that? Or, because you guys are gonna get more artifacts, you're gonna run out of space. Is that something that
I think-
we as the village should be planning on?
I think the next logical move that comes to my mind anyhow, is that we run our office functions out of there also. And if there was, you know, an extension or something in the works that we collaborated on and were able to get in, you know, get happening, it would be more a new building that did have a bit of office space in it and, you know, the ability to display, you know, some more up-to-date artifacts and stuff that maybe a new building would represent, as opposed to, you'd lose a lot of character the minute
Yes.
you want to destroy it or.
Oh, no, I wouldn't want to
Or
destroy it.
not, you know, not carry on in the location that we're in, you know? And I think that's important, so.
But I think it's something that we should be looking at in the future.
I believe that would be useful, you know, obviously very expensive, so. And,
But it attracts tourists. It
It
attracts people
does,
here, right?
it does. Our location doesn't seem to be a detriment to tourist traffic coming in, you know, our numbers stay pretty static as far as year-to-year visits. And I don't think the location is bad, so I don't know where you go as far as, you know, where you would expand to make another building that fit into the theme. But anything's possible, you know, that's sort of,
It'd be nice if we could find another building that one was moved in there.
a heritage type thing.
Yes, if we could find another building with,
We'll talk to Sucre and get the government building.
Would you donate that, Sucre?
Yeah.
It would be taken up.
yeah, but I'm just thinking that you guys have been sort of full for the last couple of years,
Oh,
like,
sure.
we should be looking at what the future is for expansion.
I believe that it'd have to, you know, it'd have to come out after a lot of collaboration and consultation and, you know, some kind of feasibility.
So that-
Yeah, we have to have
Another
physical
problem,
studies and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
another problem there too is room on the lot.
Yeah.
Like it's tight in there too. We took that tree out, Buddy did actually, got rid of the whole. And that's where we're gonna put that 14 by 16 shed, which then we can get rid of some boxes and stuff that's, but you guys gotta keep all that paper.
Will the co-op donate the lumber and?
I
Because they
own the
do-
building, so I don't ask to go up and give me lumber for it.
But I'm just saying, like, I know that they donate stuff, so would you like me to go to the co-op and ask them?
Excuse me, I was
Dude,
already,
okay.
didn't talk to them already, co-op,
Uh-huh.
and they wouldn't do nothing for us. And I asked them to put a package together too, and then they said, well, you know, they'll get a building built, but they won't build the building that we want. So we found a private guy that can do that. We're just waiting for a quote.
They wouldn't put a package together?
No, they didn't want to put a package together for what we wanted. They would rather have the building built by themselves, but they will not build the one that we want. Because
Who did you talk to?
we go back into the left side, into where the
The contractor stuff?
contractor side, yeah.
Excellent job.
I will follow up on that if you want me to.
if I could add just a little note here. In years past, we made a point of attending 2 meetings. And one of them was to defend our budget that we presented,
Oh,
and the second one was an update in the fall to basically do what Les just did.
yeah.
And that worked for a long time, you know, but administrations change and needs change and people change, so, you know.
Well, you don't have to defend your budget.
Well, no, but we used to only because we wanted that transparency.
Yeah.
And if anyone had questions, that was the time to ask.
If you want to do that in the spring.
I don't want to, I just said that's what
We can redo that, Joe. You got that, Sandy? This spring they'll come and talk to us about the budget,
In the fall.
and then the fall, Les will do a final one.
Okay.
Now, another little known fact I'm going to bring to light is that, and people who go into the gaming industry, whatever, understand that there are restrictions on the money that we have in our accounts that we garner through the sale of tickets and raffles and stuff like that. And we're obligated to spend that in the current year. Spend. That need and the fact that we've accumulated a few dollars in that regard is what's triggered the shed that we're building here. So actively we didn't, because we have that money, we didn't actually go out and look for donations for that shed. And that pretty well covers off everything that said.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll just say thank you for your report, Les, and you do a great job. Thank you. Roasted.
Thank you, guys.
See, and you lived through it, Les.
Oh, I didn't live through that. I was wondering if you guys would know.
You want to come around and shake Jackie's hand, but Frank is here. See you guys.
Okay.
See you, bud.
Thanks.
You betcha, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming, you guys.
Do you want the code? They don't want us. Do you want this? Do you want to read out? Do you want delegation? I know. Okay. I'm gonna just. Hey, how are you? Great to see you. Put that there. Thank you.
Or you must be Creed?
Hi, Daniel.
Sucrit? Hi, yes. I'm Daniel. Seems like you know him.
You shutting down if you want to read me a lot later.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay.
Just 1 second, they have to do their thing. 6.2 recommendation.
The council hears the delegation of the Dawson Creek Disc Golf Club.
All second. Any discussion? All in favor? Yeah. Go ahead, you can do whatever you like.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Council. My name is Kevin Zarifa. This is Daniel Martin, and we are from the hopefully soon-to-be rebranded Dawson Creek Disc Golf Club. Daniel started a course, how many years ago?
2014.
2014. Me, being the oldest person in the room, actually played a round of disc golf in 1978 when I was 17 years old at Little Mountain in Vancouver, where I lived at the time. And I didn't play again until I moved up here and in this age of social media and wanted to connect to other people and find out there was a disc golf scene up here. Oh, I forgot my bag, I can pass it on to Honey. So, what we're coming to you guys about is we want to
Yeah, throw one.
Yeah,
These are putters, these won't hurt.
yeah.
They're putters?
Yeah.
Putters. Okay, so I'll back up a little bit. This is what we aim at. This is the basket. And there are 3 distinct types of discs that we use. The putter has the thickest profile, and then there's a mid-range that's not quite as thick, and then there's a driver that you would have, Your Worship, that flies pretty far. The world record for throwing a driver now is over 1,100 feet.
Oh.
So it's a little crazy. Disc golf is the fastest growing sport that you've never heard of. It's expected that by 2025, disc golf courses will outnumber ball golf courses. Largely in part to the fact that ball golf courses, such as the Farmington golf course, have partnered with disc golf clubs and put baskets onto unused areas of their ball golf course, or they've allowed us to take over the course for a weekend for a tournament, as we did in Farmington. We've had four major tournaments in northeastern BC. We've had 3 Battle of the Peace that have been held in Taylor, and we've had 1 Farmington Fling that was held, obviously, in Farmington. People have come from as far away as
Whitehorse,
actually.
Vernon, Vanderhoof,
There you
Mackenzie.
go. A player from Whitehorse actually won Battle of the Peace in Taylor by 10 strokes. They play all year round, any kind of weather. So we currently have a 13-hole basket course in Dawson Creek. We have a 9-hole temporary basket course, and
where's that located?
sorry,
Where's that located on the
Kin
course?
Park. Kin Park. And Daniel and I went out to your beautiful food park and mapped out a provisional 9-hole course. And it broke everybody's heart, not just in Proust, but in Dawson, to read about the amount of money that Proust had to spend to clean up after one idiot in a pickup truck who was able to wreak his damage partly because there weren't enough eyes on him. And what disc golf has done in a lot of major cities, small towns, villages, is created a presence where none existed to reduce the amount of vandalism, reduce the amount of drug use, littering, vagrancy, squatters, the whole 9 yards. And we have supporting documentation to back that up. Where a disc golf course has been put in, the benefits to the community are almost immediate. it's an environmentally friendly sport, and that once we put the baskets in, other than footprints, we don't leave a trail. Dawson Creek City Council has supported us acknowledged us and supported us, I guess, for a stewardship of the park. Both Barbary and Chamberlain parks in Dawson Creek were considered underutilized by the rec department, and we have planted trees, we have participated in community cleanup, we do outreach programs for all the schools, turning kids on to disc golf. A gentleman named Frisbee Rock came up from Calgary and did workshops all through Dawson Creek School District.
He's he won Frisbee Rock won 6 Guinness World Records.
Yeah, the guy can do some insane stuff. He holds the world record for throwing a frisbee on skates, chasing after it and catching it before it hits the ground. I won't be matching that.
So it's already
crazy.
Chris
Yeah,
will, he'll match it.
Yeah, there
So
you go.
quickly, my name's Daniel.
Okay, sorry. There's actually a magazine, believe it or not, put out by the Professional Disc Golf Association, the governing body of our sport, called Disc Golf. It only comes out 4 times a year. But you look in the back at the amount of tournaments, and there are A, B, C tier tournaments all over North America, and it's page after page after page. Like I said, a really fast growing sport. Taylor has reaped the benefit, Farmington reaped the benefits of people coming from all over spending money in that community. We would like to partner with you guys, ask you to invest in us and bring you in under the umbrella of the Dawson Creek Disc Golf Club, rebrand ourselves as the Southeast Disc Golf Club, and the long-term goal is to have an 18-hole world-class course in Coos Park that can host a tournament. What Coos Park has that is phenomenal is amenities that other places don't, even places that have hosted tournaments in Northeast BC. We've got the bandstand, we've got the river adjacent, we've got the playground, so it's not just a destination for Daniel or I to go and play a tournament. It's a destination for people with children, families, to go out and make a day of it and spend their money in Coos.
Yeah. And then, my name is Daniel. I'm the president of the Dawson Creek Disc Golf Club.
Sorry, I'm an old man, I gotta skip.
But I'm also the Northern BC Regional Director for the British Columbia Disc Golf Society, who's been very instrumental in helping get disc golf in Northern British Columbia. We've got a course in Fort Nelson. Through the British Columbia Disc Golf Society and the Dawson Creek Disc Golf Club, we helped get the course in Fort St. John. We're the ones that spearheaded that. It was the Dawson Creek people that our targets were the ones that were used initially.
Okay.
And so we put those in Toboggan Hill in July of 2016 as a test temporary layout, similar to what we want to do here in Coos Coopy. And then it was so successful that then they got a Northern Health grant, they formed their own nonprofit society, they got a grant for baskets, and then they now they got a full-on course, and they got a second course in Fort St. John now.
Right on.
Yeah, so we kind of wanted to use that same model, get a test temporary course using the tonal targets, maybe bring some baskets in for a tournament like the Charity Ice Bowl we're thinking of, bring in Frisbee Raw from Calgary, get the people from Grand Prairie and Fort St. John down for a charity event, and then go from there. And then hopefully that goes well. We'll talk over the winter, and then maybe we can get baskets next year. Same model that we did in Dawson Creek. We used tone targets at the course in Dawson Creek, and within a year we had baskets on the course.
Any questions?
What kind of investment are you looking for, Daniel?
The long-term investment, it's about $1,000 a hole.
Yeah.
So if it's a 9-hole course, it's about $9,000. The tone target course is about $500 initial investment. We have most of the supplies already because we had already had a tone target course in Fort St. John and Dawson Creek.
So all in all, to set up what you need, how much money would you need?
To set up what we need for 2018 would be $0. And to set up what we want, we can discuss that with the Parks and Rec. But for what we need to set up a course tomorrow is $0. but we would like, we want to use that as a test, course to show proof of concept. Even though we've shown that in Dawson Creek and Fort St. John, we want to bring in a couple people, play a few games, show the council and the village of Coos-Coopee that it can coexist with other activities.
Can I piggyback on that?
Yeah, go for it.
What we're looking for is a collaborative process between us and Dawson Creek, players in Fort St. John, players in Grand Prairie, and even further east in Calgary, who are experienced course designers. Daniel and I, we think we've done a good job, but with course designing, it actually goes against the too many cooks in the kitchen credo, in that the more collaborative process you engage in, the more ownership is spread out amongst the different disc golf clubs. We want ultimately Coos Park course to be a destination for not just players in Coos and Dawson Creek, but from Fort St. John, Fort Nelson, from Grand Prairie, from Calgary. Like I said, what you have here in Coos is in the park is perfect for hosting a major tournament.
So, but July 1st, we'll have all the vendors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Will those be in the way? Right?
Oh, not at all.
I attached a map. We designed a course that goes on the perimeter for the most part, and a lot of events that they do, for example, in Grand Prairie, they do a lot of stuff at Muskogee Park, and I think at South Bear is another course, and so they just put hoods on the baskets, or they just take them off the course, right? Or a toboggan, or if it's on a toboggan hill, they just for example, let's say you put baskets on the course. You can install them in an inset ground sleeve in the ground, and then you can lock them, and then you can just lift them up and then store them somewhere.
Yeah.
So for a major event, one person could just, move them off to the side and then chain them up, and they're out of sight, out of mind, and they won't be in anybody's way. But the course that me and Kevin designed, I think it's 9-hole course. 8 of the holes are pretty much on the very, very outside of the perimeter. So it shouldn't interfere with anything. I think, there's no holes that are like, where you're in, like where the
there's no
picnic
holes.
tables are.
Yeah, there's no holes where we're throwing, down.
Or over the playground. There's no holes like where you throw over the playground.
This is your design, is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing that's good about the tone targets is that you don't need any concrete. You can lift them up out of the ground if you have the right tools and equipment. One person can easily lift them up all in a couple hours and move them or relocate them.
So we just give you a call and you come and remove them?
Yeah.
Or does
The way that, if you talk to Bear Renard, he's the Director of Community Services in Dawson Creek. I have a good relationship with him. He's given me lots of praise in council meetings regarding if he's asked me to move maybe a basket or a T post or something like that. I'll go out there and I'll just relocate it. Or I'm very the Dawson Creek Disc Golf Club for the last 3 or 4 years. Barry Renard has said we're the most one of the most probably reachable clubs that are active and trying to better the parks and community. So we're really reachable.
Further to that, I think what sets our club apart from some other clubs is we've been inclusive from day one. The BC Provincial MA50, which I competed, which is men's amateur 50 and over, at the provincials, I think they had 7 players. We have 6 just in Dawson Creek alone. We had kids, when we had the Farmington Flame, we had a junior division, 19 and under. If you go to a broader tournament like the Nationals in Canada, or the US Disc Golf Championships in the States and Kansas, they had MA60, MA70, MA80. The Junior World Championships were just held, and they had, the under division was 6 and under.
Yep.
So it was really cool, and like I said, it's a sport of the future in that it's environmentally friendly, it's affordable. If any of you wanted to come out and play with us, okay, you would spend $15 to $20 and you're set. That's all you need.
And how much are memberships?
In our club,
Yeah, our club membership is about 25, but you don't need to buy a membership.
You can play the course regardless, the course is always free.
Not only that, but it would be free because we've donated this to, we have like about 40 loaner discs.
That we just give out.
And we also donated this to the schools, we've donated this to the Everybody Active program. So anybody with a library card can go in and get a box of 10 discs with their family and go and play.
Through my job, I work for a company in Dawson Creek called Independent Networking Services. So I'm a family intervention worker for children and youth with special needs. And when MCFD, their social workers, had their team day, their last team day, they asked me to teach them how to play disc golf, which was actually really, really cool. And for some of the kids that I work with, to see their social workers or their teachers out there playing, in one sense, it's that out of contact moment where you're leading a life that children don't want you to lead because you're supposed to be in the classroom. Right? On the other hand, it humanizes the teachers, it humanizes the social workers, it humanizes the intervention workers like me, because they see us out just doing the same things they did.
Cool.
Yeah. So thank you for your time. We're probably all over already.
Not a biggie.
Yeah.
Yes, we will discuss it and then we'll get back to this.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for your time.
Yes, no problem.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't put your discs in. Oh. Secret seal winner.
Oh, thank you. I will trade you for a mere 300 grams of chicken.
Everybody was like, "Aw."
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
One
you.
day we'll
No,
open
you can leave it
close.
open. No, it'll be fine.
Okay, thank you guys. Have a good
Thanks.
day.
Thank you. Unfinished business arising from minutes. New business, 8.1 recommendation.
Recommend that council accept the donation of land located on Riverside Road, property ID number 014505517 from the Presbyterian Church in Canada, effective for October 28th, 2018.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? .2 recommendation.
Recommend that council receive the recycling report for information.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion?
No.
Well, I had a discussion because I
See,
think
it
it's
was real.
really
Went up
high.
3,000 in a year.
Yeah.
I imagine that's picked up about.
Chris, did you figure out if can sign that contract with them over recycling?
Over at the contract for like the fixed, no, I haven't had a chance to call them. And just for clarification, we discussed this at the staff meeting today. It was brought to my attention that the recycling program was likely started in 2016, so that 11,000 might represent a part year cost. So,
I just think it's really high. But, and you don't have the prices of garbage, so we can't compare it.
as it stands right now, we're running about $900 a dump for the garbage. So that's, the material that doesn't go into the recycling. Most of the recycling material, of course, tends to be the lighter stuff. So, if the entire community's garbage is $900, even if the community were to walk away from the recycling program, and of course nobody's suggesting we do that, but if that were to happen, we might see a couple of $100 increase in the dumping fees for the garbage. Because it's the heavier material that represents that $900 dumping fee. So the lighter stuff, I couldn't imagine would add more than a quarter or 25%.
So what do you recommend?
I think the recycling program is good, Your Worship. We've definitely done some work, some extensive work trying to get the community on board. Of course, the company we send it to keeps moving the goalpost on what's allowed, so that's continuously been a challenge. It's happened twice now over the last 12 to 18 months. I guess the saving grace for the community too is despite the cost, from a budget standpoint, the taxpayers aren't paying for the cost of the recycling program directly. It's linked to the gas tax fund in the budget, so really, the province is paying for the recycling on
We
paper,
already are paying it.
which is good. Yeah. So, you know, and it's an environmentally conscious thing to do in this day and age, so.
It is.
We're comfortable as staff and, you know, Public Works as well, and continuing to work with the community and make sure the program, we're doing the best we can. I spoke to Chad today, who took the dump, or the, you know, recycling load in today, and actually, he mentioned at lunch that a recycling DC staff member commented that our loads are some of the cleanest that they're seeing coming in, so that's
Oh, good.
really good. I guess that kind of highlights the work we've done to try and make sure the community's aware of what is eligible and isn't.
So maybe we should have a Facebook page to let the residents know that they're,
We could, yeah.
can I have a motion on the floor for that?
I'll second that motion they made.
Just to thank the residents for cleaning up their act, I guess would be, and good job.
Yeah.
Keep up.
Should we, Your Worship, should we let them know that the gas tax revenue is what's covering it? So that they know it's not their tax dollars?
Well, it is their tax dollars, so I'm ready.
Well, it is, but around about way,
Yeah,
right?
we can.
Yeah. I realize it's tax dollars.
Just make one up and bring it back to council. Email it to council for approval.
Will do.
Okay. Correspondence. Anybody see anything? Did everybody read the 9.3? The CN?
Yes.
Yes. That's a year and a half away. Celine and Robinson thanking us for coming and speaking to her. And GRCP. So we
Yeah,
had,
they did actually get quite a few totals.
yeah, we did.
Your Worship, in reading that, are they planning to do, is the staff sergeant planning to come and talk to us? Are we asking for?
Yeah, if you ask them to, yeah.
Okay. I'd be interested in having them come talk to us.
Yeah, Chris, can you,
I can try again. I extended an invitation for that a couple of months ago at council's request. At the time, you know, the response I got back was that they were pretty busy, weren't sure if they could get somebody in, but I can definitely try that.
okay. All right, I can pull him into it, it's not a big deal.
He's offering actually, so.
Okay.
Get everything ready.
So, resolutions now, 11, bylaw 11.1 recommendation.
The council give fourth reading and adopt bylaw 1016, 2018, tax exemption 2018.
I'll second.
All in favor? Number 12, administration reports, and that's you, Chris.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just on a side note, just regarding the previous item there, we had a representative from the Legion come in yesterday and ask if the Legion could be exempted from property taxes as well. Sandy and I looked at the calendar. There isn't enough time to meet the statutory deadline to have brought it up to council for this year, so they're on a delegation for next council meeting.
Can I have the information on exactly how many Kooshoopee residents use the Legion?
Yeah, we can ask them to bring that for the meeting.
Okay, so Chris is going to do his report.
Thank you. Kicking things off by some of the previous CAO report items. I had a conference call with Katrin late last week. We talked about two of the major projects that she's handling for us, the West Poos concept plan and then the boundary extension. So I'm happy to report West Poos is complete on urban systems end. They will be providing us the document, or the final document, in time for the November 7th council agenda. You guys will have the opportunity to approve it at that point. It's gone through all the community consultation and everything that's been requested, so we believe it's in an approval-ready format. And in the boundary extension, my direction to urban systems was one project at a time. Let's not multitask with all these studies and stuff. So now that that's wrapping up, they're going to come to council probably for the first meeting in December for the next boundary extension. Nice to see those two coming to a close. Attended a board presentation with the mayor over at the Dawson Creek Co-op. We presented on the skate park potential grant from them. So thanks to the Dawson Creek Co-op for allowing us to present. Attended a half-day trails workshop put on by the PRRD, and this kind of loosely ties into that CN item as well. Bruna from the PRRD had put together this workshop between them, City of Dawson Creek, and us, and it was to discuss the 3 options for the trail that we're looking at through the PRRD from Dawson to Poos. So we drove all 3 of the options. It was quite an afternoon. I got a pretty extensive tour of the Dawson Creek sewage lagoons. We're not going to be
Was it not on the last council meeting? Yes, it was.
Did I mention this on the last one? Okay, sorry, I'm repeating myself. There we go. I didn't think I had.
You did.
Okay. Mayor McKinney confirmed in Canada a presentation that council's been looking for is set for November 8th in the Dawson Creek office at 6:30.
And they're bringing supper.
They're bringing supper. Okay. Did a community drive around with Blair late last week. Village appears pretty ready for winter. We found 2 alleys that need a little bit of grading and some work that's been done. Also did a drive-by inspection of the Hillcrest property, and just to let council know, we've got some bylaw letters going out to them by Friday.
So was the drive or the grate or the alley that you cleaned up, was that, what alleys were they?
There was the one here behind Town Hall, and then there was one, I believe, between
Directly
47th and 48th. Was it the direct, yeah, directly across? Yeah.
Okay, and what about the one up in Peterson subdivision?
We can take a look at that too.
Is that one?
Yeah.
Because I brought it into you last Friday.
Okay.
Talked to you about it.
Peterson, okay. Had a discussion with Blair and then at the staff meeting today about Poos Park winter hours and what council would like to do there. So I've asked staff to contact the Dawson Creek Cross Country Ski Trail Association, see if they'd be able to come in and maybe do some cross country ski trails or something for us down there in the winter. We are able to plow the road into it if that happens. If you can't really line up anything for sure down there that we might be able to use the park for, then I might recommend closing it for the winter. But if there's something to do for ski trails or something like that, then I recommend to council that we try that out for a year or 2.
Or if something comes up, you can always unlock.
Yeah, we can head down there and plow it. So,
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
the ones we did last year over at the Ball Diamonds, they were well received. So obviously there's a little bit more real estate down at Poos Park, so if we can make that happen, might be a good.
And we
thing to
haven't
do.
heard back from them.
Alistair's reached out and no, haven't heard back from him. The contact info, and he sent them an email.
Because they've changed so many times, right?
I might end up reaching out to Adam too and just seeing if he knows who to contact. Or I think the guy that owns Griffin's in Dawson is affiliated with them too. So
Glenn?
Yeah, Glenn.
Mike?
Glenn, yeah.
Glenn.
Okay.
Well, Glenn or Mike.
Yeah.
They're both sports minded.
Yeah.
And Glenn right now lives in Kelowna, so I'm assuming it would be Mike.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have we got some time, so I'll have a chat with somebody and see if they're open to that idea. Maybe they might want to look for a donation to the XC Ski Club from council.
Which is fine. I'm sure everybody would agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, insurance thing Les spoke to, so that's done. Attended the cannabis in the workplace seminar with Sandy last week in Dawson Creek. Very good seminar put on by the Dawson Chamber, so thanks to them for lining that up. I guess the Coles notes from all of that stuff is now that cannabis is legal, it doesn't entitle anybody to come to work intoxicated, of course, or under the influence. Sandy and I are going to be working on a new drug and alcohol policy for the village. We'll bring that back to council probably before year end here. I'd like to have that adopted sooner rather than later. So that is in the works. Nope.
Getting really wordy.
Flyers for Santa Claus Parade will be going out this week, so your worship, you sign that here tonight. Given what happened with the break-and-enters in town the other night, we've been throwing around the idea of putting some security cameras on.
I'm thinking we should put some bars on those doors because Christmas packages are going to be coming out in the windows because they're going to want in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if there's a camera or not because by the time the police get out here, they didn't even call the emergency line
I looked into that, your worship, and it turns out that it was Canada Post directly that was contacted by the RCMP. So they didn't reach out to us.
To the owner of the building.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking we need to get somebody in to have some bars built on there and on the door and on the windows. Pardon?
I have a question. We may own the building, but I think it's the Canada Post's responsibility to protect their assets that are inside the building. So I think bars on windows and doors and security cameras, I feel we should, it's their issue, it's not us. They did rent the building from us.
But it's our building. So we're responsible for the outside of the building. They're responsible for the inside of the building. Because they're leasehold improvements would be if they put the bars on the inside. But if we put the bars on the outside, we're responsible. So, can you talk to?
I definitely
Canada
can't. I have to have a conversation with whoever their facilities person is once the invoice comes in for the repair work that was done, because I'm actually unclear as to whether or not that's going to be us or them covering that work. Because at the end of the day, they weren't working in there to access our stuff. It was post office, so I'm going to try and see if Canada Post will cover that. I think they will, but I'll know when I have that conversation for sure. I can definitely ask if they're interested in doing that, because I understand that's not the first time the post office was broken into either. So.
But it's Christmas is right around the corner, so we need to get this done as soon as possible.
Okay, fire department's all ready for Halloween this year. The staff Christmas party, it's not party this year, it's a dinner. It's been set for December 12th. And we're doing,
Is that with PRDs?
no.
Did you go and find out?
No, that's just a dinner this year, your worship. So member council had.
Yeah, but when's PRD's actual party?
Um,
You guys are supposed to check on that.
okay. Okay, so look into that. Where was I?
And where is the supper?
It's at the Fix.
Okay.
It's in guest plus one. We're in the process of ordering staff jackets with the logos like we did with the t-shirts for some of the staff functions in the colder weather. Council, we're from council, like let us know, we'll add that to the order.
How much are they?
Don't know, we haven't chosen the design yet.
$500.
Then you don't have one.
I'm not worth
You didn't see that
$500.
You're
Pardon? What were you gonna say?
Getting back to it, the shelving's being installed over at the old library for the food bank as we speak. We expect that work to be done soon. Council's gonna have the Q3 financial report on the November 7th meeting. It should have been on this one, but I'd spoken to the mayor, and we'll get that out for the new council, so it kind of gives them a state of the union once that comes in. Sandy, and thanks to her, all the UBCM hotels have been booked for this year, so we were one of the first out of the gate.
What about NCLGA?
They haven't released it yet.
November 5th,
They haven't even said where it is yet.
Williams Lake.
Yeah, where? They haven't released it yet.
But November 5th.
Not till November 5th.
Yeah, 5th is when you can start booking hotels.
Yeah, I got it on the calendar.
I sent him an email on it.
Yeah, I saw
You
that.
did send it to me.
No, I saw it came in today. And then last but not least, the reminder for the special meeting on Friday.
Tomorrow.
No, that's
No,
Thursday.
Thursday. Oh.
That's it.
Okay. Council Edwards.
What?
Do you have,
Do you want to do the social report?
Oh,
Yeah.
already? They're all done. Most of them are just about done.
Only 30 pages in this.
Well, we've been working our butts off. Barb?
I have a question. The action item on here, how much to build a new library, how much to run it. Is that something that we've discussed in a council meeting?
It was asked for last council meeting.
Yeah, that's
I
one through.
think I brought it up, Council.
No,
No, it's
just
not
want
something.
something.
Just
You
for
just wanted the
information.
information.
It's just information.
Okay.
It's just info, yeah.
So anybody see anything? Okay, and then the next one is the calendars.
I'll just mention on October 19th, I will have a meeting with an EGM meeting for Alaska Highway Community Board, which I'm a director for, on behalf of the Village of Pouce. That's in Fort St. John, but I will be a teleconference to Dawson Creek, so I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to take a call at 10 o'clock. Okay? There's no cost for the village.
Okay. I don't know where I will be.
And then the meeting of noon, right? The same day.
Huh?
The meeting on the 19th,
I have a meeting on Monday.
at noon. At noon for, we talked about
The special meeting.
the special
special
meeting with
meeting,
Rush Canada.
I usually get a text in the morning from Sandy.
Okay.
You're supposed to be here. Oh, okay. Anybody else? Okay. It is Counselor Evans's report.
The only thing I have to report is my last meeting, as I'm not going for election. I wish you all well. Maureen, you're already in, so you're already well. And it's been good. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your hard 7 years of work there, Colleen.
7 years.
A long time.
And Counselor Johnstone.
I have nothing to report.
Okay.
Oh, the
Counselor.
museum was here. So. My report
They
was
had
out
it
there.
for you.
Okay.
Counselor Smith.
The mayor and I attended Northern Lights College grand opening. What a beautiful facility. Really nice.
I want to see in there.
That's all I have.
I attended 2 Old Fort meetings in Fort St. John to support the board. There was 2 of them. It's just a sad state of affairs. And I did the opening of the Northern Lights College. And then I did a co-op presentation with Chris for a grant for our skate park. And then I went to PRD last Thursday. So that's all I have to report.
I think we missed.
Oh, I
Andre.
missed you on Andre. Sorry, go ahead.
It's all good, it's all good. So for the October 4th, the mayor also was at this meeting at the PRD at KPAC for the Caribou Recovery. We had a meeting, we had people right there from BC talk to us about that and the concerns. And all the mayors that were there and directors made sure that they were aware that we're not at the table and we want to be at the table to know what's going on. So we've told them that very clearly. October 7th, a teleconference PRD meeting. I was in Edmonton actually. For this one, it had to do with the old fort evacuation order that had to be done. So they asked the board directors to phone out, and not the directors to phone anyway, they called me anyway. They asked me to phone in, and we have to give approval basically and discuss it. October 11th, the Peace River Regional District in Fort St. John. The mayor was at that meeting also. A Trade Center Gala event I attended. On behalf of Pouce, I was recognized as the counselor for the Village of Pouce that night. October 12th, Northern Lights College Trade Center, the grand opening with the Minister of Advanced Education. October 14th, that's Sunday, the mayor and I traveled together to the Peace River Regional District meeting, which was with the Old Fort residents. And what I can announce here is that we actually have reopened it.
You let him in.
They're letting them in, yeah, for 2 hours. So everybody west and east are now allowed to go in, and also they've just given a temporary access permit to BC Hydro and Minister of Transportation today and Infrastructure MOT to investigate purposes to assess the establishment of services. So it's all positive. There is still some movement on that slide, so it's still a concern. And as I mentioned, I'll be attending a teleconference, the Alaska Highway Community, and that is my report. Thank you.
I just have one, and not for Andre, I have one question I need to ask Chris and Sandy. You guys had a bet on pre-election. Who won?
You don't yet.
No, on that day at the.
Oh, on that day, we all lost.
The number of voters,
We had
yeah.
3 guests, and then we all lost
We all
again.
lost again.
We had 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I just
guess
want to know what the
the highest number was 20.
25 pre-voted? Okay. Okay.
Your worship, I want to bring up something here. It wasn't brought up, but it should have been brought up at the delegation for the golf, disc golf for Pusput Park. The reason Sukut was here is because they're planning to give food and donations to the Puskupi Food Bank. And that's why Sukut came actually, because they phoned her and told her that. And so I want the council to know that that's also part of their presentation to us, and for whatever reason, they didn't mention it, so I mentioned it, okay? Thank you.
I'm all for them to use the property. Are you guys all for it?
Yes, I am. Definitely.
You might have to discuss it with a new council.
I think
Well, no,
I would
I
like
think
to. What's that?
I said, I'm all for it.
I am too, that's,
It
I
doesn't
think it'd be a
break
good
anything
use of the
that's
park.
Well, breaking anything that's.
And like you say, yeah.
Activities, anybody can play it and you can
All
have
in
it.
favor? Okay, good, Christopher.
Oh, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.